Namaskar. It is my proud privilege and honor to be talking to a Sadguru today, Param Pujya Sakshi Shree, my very revered Guruji, and someone whom I deeply admire and revere. It's very seldom that one gets the opportunity to talk to Sadguru and address various questions of life, of this life and the afterlife. I am the fortunate and blessed one to get this opportunity, and I hope this conversation of a seeker with his Guru will be of great interest to all of you who are listening to this, and some of your questions also perhaps will get answered through the course of this series of conversations that I would be blessed to have with Guruji. Thank you, Guruji, for giving us this time, your divine presence to answer these questions that we have on various aspects of life. I would like to start, Guruji, with a very fundamental question for a common person. What does spirituality actually mean? It's a very loaded term which is used repeatedly by several people. Most often people confuse spirituality or maybe think of spirituality as abstinence. We have to leave everything and jungle mein chale jao. All the joys of life you have to give up and go away into the forest, and that is spirituality. So for a layman it becomes very difficult to then do that in the humdrum of everyday life. So in the spiritual scheme of things, can the spiritual and the material actually coexist? And what is spirituality in 21st century for a human being?
All right, before coming to answer your question, I express my thankfulness to you, Vikram. You are a famous historian of the country, and I must say you are globally famous, a person who is so deeply interested in history, facts, as well as analysis of the facts of the outside world. At the same time, I really felt very happy to find that during my personal interactions with you, you were taking deep interest in matters of spirituality, in matters of the heart, and in matters of the inner. So that is why I felt that talking to you will convey a great message to the people, also to those who are interested in history. And through you, I will be trying to draw their attention inwards towards the inner side of life also. As regards your question, Vikram, I have got a very simple way to answer your question. You see, this whole universe can be divided into two dimensions. One is the seer and the other is the seen. There is nothing else in this existence. One is the seer. You are the seer. And whatever you are seeing is the rest of the world. So the seer and the seen make the whole existence. As regards the things seen, that is the objective world. And all the analysis, all knowledge, and our awareness about the objective world, objective existence, has been termed as physical sciences, whatever it be, physics, chemistry, maths, anything. But there is one more dimension, that is the seer. Who is this seer who is seeing this whole universe, the whole objects of the world? To know something and everything about the seer, that is who you are. That is the science of the spirituality. So, in other words, I can say spirituality means the science of the inner, the science of your inner being as to who you are. Anything associated with this is spirituality. The rest of the things concern the outside world and they come in the realm of physical world and physical sciences. So I hope the division is clear.
Yes.
And the concept is also simply clarified.
Yes.
Learning about your own self. That is why it has been said by those who are the enlightened masters, who has mastered their lives, who have come equal to the supreme awareness of this existence. Those enlightened masters have been saying, know thyself. If you happen to know thyself, then nothing else remains to be known. Everything is known. When Gautam Buddha knows about himself, he feels that he has become one with the universe. Now nothing else remains to be seen, and nothing else remains to be achieved also, because once you experience your oneness with the universe, once you experience your oneness with this existence, you become as vast, as infinite as this existence itself. So, know thyself should be the motto of this life, because that is the ultimate knowledge, that is the ultimate experience, and only humans are entitled to have this experience, and this life is an opportunity. One should never deprive oneself of this opportunity.
That was so beautifully and simply put to understand, I think, in a way that no one can forget. But this science and process, Guruji, of knowing yourself, to do that, do you have to disconnect from the seen world? Only then you can know the seer? Is that disconnect required?
Wow, very important question. That is something which has been the understanding since times immemorial. People who were interested in the inner world, in the inner side of the being, they usually had to cut themselves off from the society. And they used to do all practices, spiritual practices, and so many activities, spiritual activities they had to involve. But with the growth of human understanding and with the growth of civilization as such, now the situation has become entirely different. Man has become more mature, and not even today, even 5,000 years ago, enlightened figures like Krishna had spoken that you need not go anywhere for self-realization or for experiencing of the self. And for the same, Krishna offered a very powerful device in the Gita, that while living your household life and doing all household activities, you can experience enlightenment simply by detaching yourself from the fruits of the action. He said, action alone is thy concern, not its consequences. In other words, he said, karmaneva adhikaraste ma phalesu kadachan. If you can act and involve yourself absolutely in the process of the act itself without any care for the consequences, then your total energy gets involved into the act, and that absolute involvement with the act itself is bound to produce the results of the act. What happens in actual life? People are more concerned about the consequences, whether it will be success or it will not be a success, and that is why their energy is partly involved in the process of the act and largely involved in thinking of the consequence. So he says very beautifully that if you can manage to put absolute involvement in the act itself, you will become free of all the tensions, turmoils, and problems which are surrounding every individual every time in every act he is doing. And once you can learn this art of doing things without being involved in the consequences, in due course of time, one will find that his each and every activity itself has become a spiritual practice, and that will ultimately lead him to enlightenment. that will ultimately lead him to self-realization. At the same time, he has expressed some more devices also, but I have exemplified one device which is so powerful that doing all activities of this life, you can experience enlightenment, you can experience your inner being. At the same time, you can have a very successful life in this world also. There is now no need going outside. Suppose if more and more people are encouraged to practice spirituality and they are sent to the Himalayas or to far distant places for practicing spirituality, then who will be working here for the country, for the people, who will be feeding them? So that has become a total nonsense, totally meaningless. Talking of leaving this life and going into penance for practicing spirituality outside, either on the river or on the mountains or somewhere else in the ashramas, my intention is and my purpose is that there is no better place than your own home. Let your house be turned into an ashram, and let your body itself be converted into a temple, and let every breath of your life become a prayer, so that there is no need of sitting into prayer even for 10 minutes other than your activities of life. There is no need of any mandir, masjid, gurdwara or girjaghar. Vikram, I would like to tell you, once you happen to turn your house into an ashram, your body into a temple, and your breath into prayer, then all the conflicts of modern world in the name of Hinduism, Christianity and Islam will disappear. And 21st century should be marked by this new development, by the emergence of this new spirituality, so that the old religions are bid goodbye forever and humans can live peacefully together. Because this spirituality which I am talking about enshrines the beauties of Islam, Christianity and Hinduism all being put together. And that is why I have termed my movement as Science Divine Movement. Science is one for the whole humanity. And likewise, divinity can also be one for the whole humanity. Just as physics, chemistry and mathematics are working equally for every individual, be he Christian, be he Muslim, be he Hindu. Likewise, divinity can also work for them all in the same way. Just as today, physical sciences are one for everyone, the time has come when spirituality should be one for everyone. And that is what I am trying to create through Science Divine Movement all over the globe.
In this definition of spirituality that you so beautifully put, where exactly does organized religion stand? Our belief systems, our value systems, what we have learned as children, and does organized religion actually divide human beings more than it actually seeks to unite?